What's going on, guys? Good morning. Want to jump right into it. I think it'd be a little bit easier just to do a video on the ideas that I'm looking at versus doing some imagery. That being said, what I'm looking at right now is a combination of USDT on a 12-hour through 16-hour combined with ETH, but I'm also utilizing the DMI here in the sense of trend strength and seeing if there's going to be a trend change or if it's going to occur at all. First things first, what I want to see happen, let's zoom in on this a little bit. I want to see this 100 EMA hold its ground. I'm targeting this 100 EMA because we can see that we had a downtrend. We broke out of it. It would make sense to come back and retest that area. I did have a 0.382 level initially marked off, but just being that we've had some wicks that push down to the low side, I'm utilizing this 100 EMA. Now, what could change? If this ADX right here decides to keep curving up and move back into this 60 bracket, then I anticipate this 100 EMA to be lost, pushing down to where wave 4 essentially is going to come down to this 618 benchmark. That would be for this wave count. Let's zoom in a little bit here, right? That's for this wave count 1, 2, 3, and then 4 would come down a little bit lower, right? But I also have another wave count utilizing 1, 2, 3, and then making this more sharp. And if we scroll over, it's this 2805 as the 0.5 level that I have for that area. So essentially this white box, right? Somewhere inside this white box, if we lose this 100 EMA here, then this 200 comes into play. For the most part, you can see the reaction that we've ever since we've had this crossover of the 100 over the 200. That's essentially is bullish, and we've come and we've tested it. Right? We bounce right off of that. So if we're keeping the same trajectory, right? If we're in the essentially fourth wave count, right? Then wave 4 would need to come down to here for that count. And then I have wave 4 already marked off in this area. It's right on this 0.5. So between 2823 and 2805, just depending on where you're measuring your waves from. What I'm looking at next is USDT, right? And I'm utilizing USDT mainly on a 12-hour just because I want to get a little bit more concise breakdowns of where we're going. This pattern was a Nen star. Essentially, I want to see wave X held onto, but this 5.15 area, if we tap into this zone, then 100% ETH is going to have a 2 in front of it. It's going to be in those levels that I mentioned before, 2823 through 2805. And we can't take off the table 2600s, just depending on how strong that impulse is, because that impulse can translate to strong momentum. We'll need to check volume at that time in case there's deviation and it's a false move to the downside, or maybe just even a flush out, if you will. But this 5.15 area is something that I'm monitoring. This 5.15 came from this weekly right over here, and it's measured from the most recent drop, right? We topped out right here and we came down to this level right over here with a small little wick to the downside. So let's highlight that again, right? Down to here. So from top to bottom. So basically 50% of this move to the downside, that's what I'm looking at for USDT to test. If it tests this area and then goes back below, then essentially this is a bearish retest. But again, that's going to translate ETH to moving down to these levels that I had marked off before, 2823 through 2805. So just keep an eye on that. We can see on weekly for ETH, there's a loss of strength. There's just a loss of momentum, bullish momentum. Some bearish momentum is picking back up, but essentially it is still in a bullish trend. It has not changed hands just yet. So this essentially could just be the bullish retest, also translating to the correction wave of the fourth wave, right? I don't expect us to have a trend change here and we go down to 2000s. I expect there to be the correction. This essentially looks like it's going to be a sharp correction, making this wave count the blue one, right? We have 1 and then 2. This is a flat correction right here. That would make this fourth one a sharp correction. So that all matches up with my thesis in the sense of these areas being tested if USDT decides to breach into that 5.15 benchmark. If you guys have questions, just let me know. I just want to give you guys this quick feedback. Hopefully it serves you well. And I'm hoping you're having a great start to your morning. Happy Friday, guys.